Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at IMOU's new Bullet 2E. Is it worth the upgrade? Let's find out. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at IMOU's new Bullet 2E camera. Now this is a IP based camera which is waterproof and weatherproof, IP67 rated, all that kind of usual stuff. Has 1080p footage and also can capture up to 30 frames per second. Some of the new features in this particular model are variations in the focal distance length, so there's a 2.8, a 3 and a 6mm lens. Also as well, they've got a new feature which enables you to have basically full color night vision, which is a welcome addition. It kind of sounds a little bit more complicated than it actually is, but it's something which I'm glad they've integrated. So essentially now we've got 4 modes of night vision. So mode number 1 is your traditional infrared, so your black and white highlights. Also as well, you've then got a smart mode, which then will cycle between various options of either infrared, full color, or whatever the lighting system actually requires. Also as well, you've got color mode, so that essentially will disable the infrared and switches straight from normal daylight mode into night vision mode with full color. And also you've got the option of disabling those night vision modes altogether, so it just records what it can see. And actually, due to the way this sensor has actually been designed, it actually does give you a particularly good image even in complete darkness. It really is a very good sensor in low light conditions. So anyway, we'll go through this video, go through the packaging, we'll do a full unboxing, we'll then go through some of the features. Then I need to go in and set up out in the garden, which obviously will take a little bit of time, so there may be a slight delay in the video and I may look different or whatever. But anyway, we'll be doing that, and also we'll try and get some nighttime footage, some daytime footage, get some recordings of what the voice is like on this. This has actually got a microphone built in, so you can actually listen into the ambient surrounds in the location you've got it installed. And then we'll come back at the very end after I've had some testing for possibly a week or so, and then come back with my final thoughts. So yeah, this is going to be a long one, so strap yourselves in. So starting off, let's take a look at the packaging. So as you can see, this is the typical IMOU packaging in their traditional orange colouring, and obviously you've got a picture of the device there, and they're making quite a big deal now of the full colour mode, so that's really good. This is the Bullet 2E. The Bullet range actually has quite a few models in it. There's a C, a E, a Mini, all kinds of other ones. If you want full information of the other cameras available, we'll put some affiliated links in the video description below so you can check out for yourself, or you can just head over to the IMOU Life site and check them out for yourself. Again, links for that will be provided below. Moving around to the side of the box, you've got some other features such as the remote viewing, which I guess is pretty much standard these days, but it's something that we kind of take for granted, but it's nice that you've got it. So essentially you can put the application on an Android or iOS device, or even actually on a Windows tablet. This does have a Windows mode as well, so you can actually install a Windows application which runs natively in Windows 10. I think it runs in Windows 7 and 8 as well if you want to use those older types of applications. Yeah, great to have a Windows application included. You haven't got quite as much control, but certainly it does come very close to the actual mobile app. So certainly for those of you that are maybe thinking of picking some of these up, but you want to monitor it from your household PC or maybe from your desktop PC at work, then you can actually install the app very, very simply. So that is a really good bonus. Also, you've got push notifications as well to your mobile device. So if there's any activation on the alarm, should you set it up, then you'll get push notifications come through to your mobile device. Again, absolutely excellent. And also you've got video playback support, so both in the apps on the Android device, iOS device, and also Windows devices, you can do full video playback depending on your method of storage. Now there's a couple of options available for this, so if you want to, you can actually basically have it so there's no storage at all, it's just a live view. Also you can insert a SD card or a micro SD card, which supports up to 256 gig storage, and you can just have storage on the SD card. Also as well, you can connect this up to an NVR, such as something like your Synology NAS or any OnVIF approved devices. Most of those will work absolutely fine, although this has actually got full support in the Synology surveillance system. So if you want to hook it up with that, absolutely fantastic. Or alternatively, you can actually splash out and invest in IMOU's cloud service. So essentially they have a live cloud service. So if for some reason the camera got destroyed or dismantled or the SD card just corrupted itself, then you can have a backup of all of that information that the camera sees in the cloud. There is a cost for that involved, which again you can check out from their site. Certainly if you want to cover all your bases, then really you've got the option of SD card, I would say, is a must, and then the option of either running it also through NVR, Synology, or their cloud service. Moving around onto the side of the box, we've got a little bit more about the individual specs. So we've got H.265 compression and also H.264. So there's a dual mode in the output. So depending on what device you're going through, whether you're going through an app or an NVR, you've got the option of those two features. H.265, if you don't know, is basically a compressed version of video. So essentially it'll take up almost half the space in your storage medium than normal H.264 video would. Also, like we said, we've got the smart full color night vision. Also, there's a built-in spotlight as well, which is a really nice addition. Personally, I'd like to have seen a little bit more configuration on the spotlight side of things, but it does work out pretty decent, so you can use it almost like a PIR light. If there's any motion across the camera's field of view, then when it's in night mode, it will come on. You can't use it any other reason than that. We'll see a little bit more about that later when we test it, but essentially it only works in night vision mode. There is an option you can press in the app, so you can actually turn on the light and then it goes into kind of like a security mode, so it flashes on and off to maybe deter either animals, rodents, or human beings that may be somewhere that they shouldn't be. Also, there is a soft AP mode, so if you don't have wireless connectivity, no problem. You can actually connect directly to this via your mobile phone using the built-in AP. Also, there's the weatherproof they're talking about there, also Wi-Fi connection. This only works with 2.4 gigahertz, so if you're using a 5 gigahertz only spectrum on your internet provider, your router, etc., then unfortunately you won't be able to use this. Now, I'm fortunate, the router that I'm using actually has the ability to broadcast in both 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, and I've named them separately. So one is from all my smart devices on 2.4 gigahertz, and all my faster devices are on the 5 gigahertz. So yeah, your router may come into play here, so do check that your router actually supports the option of having a separate 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi band. Also, it says about the cloud service, which we've discussed, and also the micro SD card socket. On the side again, more information there, and yeah, that is pretty much it. So let's take it out and see what we actually get in the box. So looking in the packaging as we start off with, so we're presented by, first of all, we've got a wall mount guide. So if you're attaching this to a wall, which is pretty likely that you will be, then you can use this. It is a self-adhesive template, and then you can use that to drill the 3 holes to mount the actual device to the wall. Also as well, you can use the central one as well. That is perfect sizing to actually pass through the supplied cabling on the actual camera through to the inside of your either home, abode, workshop, whatever it may be. Also, you've got your legal advice, and there is the IMOU Quick Start Guide, which actually is pretty decent. Although, to be honest with you, as soon as you get the app installed and you've got that all configured, the rest of it is actually pretty much plain sailing. Next up in the box, we've got some accessories. So we've got some blanking grommets there for passing cables through walls, etc. And you can attach that onto the back of the device, which we'll show you shortly. There's also some mounting hardware. So there's some wall plugs and some screws. Next up, we've got the power plug. So this one's actually in a 3 amp configuration for UK use. And there is roughly about a 3 meter cable already installed, and it terminates in a barrel connection. Now, I can already see some of you are thinking, well, I don't think that's going to be long enough. Don't worry, it's not a problem. I have found that there's a couple of companies on Amazon that actually sell extensions of these. You can pick up a 3 meter extension for around about £9 here in the UK, in either black or white. So if you're maybe putting it alongside a wall or tacking it up somewhere, then it can be pretty discreet. Depending where you want to put it, obviously you can get the black or the white version. But essentially for most people, I think having a plug and a 3 meter cord should be sufficient. For me personally, where we're going to actually set this up into the back garden, it's going to be fine because there's a hole in the wall that goes straight through, almost from a plug socket, directly outside. So we should be absolutely fine. But obviously, if you do need a little bit more length on the cable, that isn't a problem. And you can actually add another 2 of those lengths, so giving you up to 9 meters in length, so you can get a pretty decent distance away from the actual plug socket. And last but not least, we have the actual camera itself. And it's actually a pretty heavy camera. There's a solid metal construction to the actual body itself, and also the wall mount. All of this is in a nicely satin matte white finish. So yeah, looks pretty good and will stand out as a visual deterrent, as well as obviously you've got certain things on here. So you've got the antenna on the side. Now this supports MIMO, which is multi-in, multi-out. So essentially what that means is your Wi-Fi connection is going to be pretty decent no matter where it is. Obviously, it is going to come into effect things like the routers you're using, how close it is, etc, etc. But we certainly will be testing out what the signal strength is like on the device. Taking off the front cover there, so it reveals the lens. Now the lens is a 2 megapixel lens which supports 1920 by 1080, so pretty decent resolution. Again, until we actually get this configured and set up, I'm not really in a position to say how good the quality is, but from what I've seen from some of the publications already, it does appear to be pretty decent and certainly on par with their other offerings. There is a green LED in the top here, so when it's in normal use there'll be a green LED at the top. When it's waiting for connection, that is flashing green, and when you first turn it on and it's kind of booting up, then it is red. Also on the bottom there is a very small pinhole there, and that is for the onboard microphone, so that is actually pointing in the same direction as the lens, so obviously it is slightly going to be directional for noise purposes, which is actually great because you don't really want to be picking up on your neighbours' conversations, you want to hear what is going on in front of the lens. As you've probably spotted already, there are two LEDs on here, and these are a kind of like a warm white LED. These are for obviously lighting up the area should there be a activation across the field of view, and also they act as the siren as well, which hopefully you'll see from some B-roll and also from when we take it out in the garden a little bit later. Also hidden behind this black plastic is the LEDs as well, so there's infrared LEDs. This has a up to 30 meter range for the infrared LEDs. My garden is nowhere near 30 meters, but certainly we'll see how good that is in practice. On the bottom there is a reset pin, so you can press and hold that in for 10 seconds and that will reset the device back to its factory defaults. And there's also two screws, which when you remove that cover there is a silicone gasket in there, and also that is the location of the micro SD card. Moving down there is a QR code which you can scan, so for easy setup when you go into the app just click on the plus button, scan that code, and you're pretty much home and free. All you need to do is put in your Wi-Fi details, and that is essentially it. It's very simple to set up indeed. The camera also has a pretty nice kind of knuckle joint there, so you can get quite a few different angles there depending where this is actually mounted on a wall, so depending where it is you can get some downward view. It would have been nice to have seen a fully articulated arm on here, but this pretty much does most purposes. Again, you may have to take into consideration where it's going to be mounted and what kind of angle you want. There is a screw on the side, so there's a tension screw. If you release that screw, it basically opens it up so you can move it around a lot more freely. When you're done, or when you've got your final position, then you can just tighten up that screw and it will hold it fixed in place. The mounting is actually held onto the wall with 3 screws, as you can see, and there is a kind of foamy in there as well to kind of pad it out from the wall. And also you can see there is the hole there, so if you look back at the original template you can see there's that hole in the middle, so if you cut the hole in your wall in the center as well using a larger bit, then you can pass through these cables. So this is a combination cable, so you've got your internet connection there, so you can use this as a wired device if you want to. Sadly it doesn't support PoE, so it would have been nice to be able to supply power and also your internet connection via the cable, but sadly that is not the case, so that is internet only sadly. And then you've got the separate barrel connector for your actual power connection. These are one of the things which in some cases actually work out really well, in some cases works out really bad. The bad side is if you actually have to drill into your walls and you've got cavities, then trying to actually get this cable through can be a little bit problematic. I'd have liked to have seen this be either a lot longer or maybe a kind of USB type connection. Obviously that is then going to remove the option for the Cat 5, but yeah, it is what it is. But I think most cameras these days do come with this kind of setup, and it's actually handy because again you can get easily extensions for the electrical connector if you have to go through either a longer distance or a deeper wall. So I think that is pretty much it from the unboxing side of things. So the next thing to do is for us to get this all set up, get it configured outside and do some test footage. Okay, so I figured it would be beneficial to go through the setup process with you. So I've just reset the device and we're in the IMOU app. This is fully configured, and as you can probably see, I've got my cameras already in there. So all you need to do is click on the plus button at the top here, and then you have the choice of either add manually or scan QR code. Scan QR code is considerably easier. So basically it just comes up with the QR code, then you can locate the QR code actually on the device, and it comes up on the application showing that it is a Bullet 2E. And you've got the choice then to save the QR code into memory, or you just click on next. So I'm going to click on next. And now it says, before you proceed, please ensure that your device is powered up and the LED is flashing green slowly, which hopefully you can see from there is actually working. And also make sure you've got your Wi-Fi password handy. So then you click on next. And now it wants to join a separate Wi-Fi network, which is the actual AP of the device itself. So now we're going to be communicating directly from the phone to the device itself. So it's now saying connecting to the device hotspot, so we'll just wait for that to finish. And it does say a warning here about the 2.4 gigahertz, so you have to make sure that it's available on that. And then you have to select your Wi-Fi network. So we've got tons which are nearby, so I'm going to choose the smart one, and it's already got my password because I've got my other ones connected to it, so we can go ahead and click on next. It says now device is connected to the cloud, so yeah, that is pretty much it. It's got a 120-second countdown. If you get to a point where it gets towards the very end of that countdown and it still hasn't connected, or you get an error message, do double check that your Wi-Fi router is on 2.4 gigahertz band or actually has that enabled. Some devices you may actually have the option to go into smart mode, which will then put it into 2.4 gigahertz mode. So yeah, if you want more information on that, please do let me know in the comment section below and I'll try and help you through it. So now, as we can see on the device, it says device added successfully, and at this point you can add a name to it, etc., and a location. So this is going to go into our backyard, so we'll click on backyard, and it gives you the option here of signing up for the cloud storage. You do get a free trial of that, so if you want to, you can go ahead and do that. I've already got some other system in place for the Synology, so I'm going to click on maybe later, and there we go. We have got the backyard camera showing. So currently it is aiming towards me, so if I click on the play button, and there you go, you can see me in the camera. So you can turn the device around or turn your viewing device around and see it in a different light or angle, so to speak. So yeah, looks pretty good as far as I can tell. It's not currently recording, so we'll do some recording actually in the garden a little bit later, see what that looks like. But essentially that's it, it's all set up. We can turn the spotlight on, which is the kind of emergency spotlight, and as you can see, it's pretty bright. So this is to deter people. If you turn the spotlight on, it's not just for staying on all the time, but you can configure it so it comes on at twilight and turns off at dusk, that kind of thing. I'm going to turn it off now because I can just see spots in front of my eyes. So anyway, that is the device setup. So next thing to do is to actually get it put into place outside in the garden, and then we'll do some further testing. So here's the camera set up, and hopefully you can hear my voice walking around, moving around, see what the frame rates are like. Recording this in the IMOU app at the moment, so you'll be seeing this on the screen. Hopefully a little bit bigger than I can see it on this screen. Currently in HD mode rather than SD mode, so now we're recording in SD mode, so see what the difference is between those. And we're back into HD mode, and it's pretty sunny here, so it should be a pretty decent picture. Anyway, that's it for now. Okay, so we're back after a little bit of testing, and first of all, this is a really good camera. You can currently see as well, possibly from my laptop, which is running the app, and also from the PC behind me. I've got the app running on there, the IMOU Windows app, and as you can see, we've got all four of our cameras currently working, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Having the Windows application for these particular cameras is excellent. I cannot stress enough how thankful I am that IMOU have actually done that. Definitely, if you want to get involved, is go over to the IMOU Life website. Links will be in the video description. Download the Windows app and get your camera set up. It isn't quite the same as what is actually on the mobile app. There are some slight differences, but essentially most of the main features are actually integrated. Now, looking at the camera which we're talking about today, which is the Bullet 2E, the Bullet 2C we've actually got at the front of the house at the moment, which you can also see in the upper right hand side of your picture. But the one that we've got currently is this one, so this is covering our backyard currently, and as you can see there's HD. At the moment it's currently in the standard night vision, and as you can see towards the end of the garden. It's a little bit difficult in this particular position where we've got the camera set up because it's actually in a corner, so there's light reflecting, infrared light, so the kind of iris of the lens reacts slightly differently. If it was in a less reflective area against that side panel and also the actual parasol there, then the lens would see a little bit further. Also as well, due to privacy concerns, we've also got the camera angled down slightly as well, so as to avoid the neighbours on the other side. So otherwise, if the camera was angled further down, we would see further into the garden area. Now obviously what we can do is we can turn on the daylight setting actually on there, or you can record from within the app. You can do it from within your mobile phone as well, so if you're not in front of a PC, you can certainly do that as well. And I'll show you some footage now of it with the actual light on and me talking to the camera, so you can hear what the actual visuals and also the audio is like. Here's a sound test of the IMOU camera, and these lights are pretty bright, so we'll keep this to a minimum, but hopefully you can hear me nice and crisp and clear, and yeah, you can see pretty much all down the garden. The light is actually really good, quite dazzling actually up close, so yeah, pretty decent, and we can actually turn the lighting off, as you've seen in the other videos, so yeah, actually looks good. Hopefully it sounds as good as it looks. So there, as you can see, it's not a perfect presentation 1080p for broadcast purposes, but certainly you can see what's going on. You could see actually in the footage the LEDs from the brightness of the lamp on the front really getting right up into my face, so you can see all my kind of expressions and my facial bits. So if you did need to use the footage for security purposes to apprehend a perp, then certainly you could probably do a really good job. And the cameras have really improved over what they used to be even just a few years ago. I remember the older Xiaomi ones, yeah, they were pretty bad in comparison. So the actual quality of these I really like. The PIR kind of setting of the improved 2E, really good. I do love the way the lights come on. Again, it works like a PIR sensor, so I've got it set up currently so it's in night vision mode normally, so it doesn't disturb the neighbours, that kind of thing. But as I walk through the actual field of vision, then it triggers it and the lamp will come on, then you can see in full color. You can, like I said, you can set it to full color all the time if you wanted to. Again, it depends where it is. If it's outside, maybe a premises of some sort, maybe a shop or maybe a workshop, that kind of thing, then having full color out there and also those LEDs on would give a great deterrent and also give you that full color image. But for us personally, in a back garden setting like this, I think it's absolutely fine. Again, if you wanted it at the front of your house, then maybe you'd want that light on to come on all the time. When it gets to kind of dusk settings, for it to come on, I think that would be a really good idea. But I think this works really well for us, and it triggers quite well. It doesn't get triggered by the cats, which is down to their AI technology, which prevents it getting kind of false interactions or false positives. So it will only come on in the full color mode and actually start recording and that kind of thing when a human is detected. Now I've got it set up so the camera is recording 24/7 regardless, so I can go into the app and look through and scan through various parts, which actually is really handy when parcels turn up or something happens, or the neighbours say, was there a fox in your garden last night because our garden's been torn up. Then you can go through and find it and say, oh yeah, we've seen the fox, or no, or it was a badger, those kinds of things. Pretty sad, I know, but certainly can answer some of those questions that otherwise you'd have no chance of doing. Also, it gives you the peace of mind, so if somebody should break in, they're going to be seen pretty clearly on there anyway. And also, if you want to, you can back up this, like I said, to Synology NAS or also to their cloud service. Oh, and speaking of IMOU and their cloud service, their actual products at the moment, they have been really good and given viewers of Mike's Unboxing a really great discount code. So you can use the discount code MikePromo. We'll put that in the video description below as well, so you can check that out. And that will give you 20% off all the products in their store, which is absolutely fantastic. So that actually lasts right up until the very last day of this year, 2021. So depending when you're watching this video and you're maybe looking at these things and thinking, oh, I've really fancy getting some of these, but I'm not too sure about the pricing. Well, first, let me tell you, the prices are actually really good in comparison with other ones on the market. There are some other ones you can get from kind of AliExpress and Alibaba, and they've not been as good. And certainly getting these directly from IMOU or even from the Amazon store, it's a really good idea. I'm gradually increasing and adding more and more units to this IMOU setup, and I'm really pleased with it. We have been sent other cameras from other manufacturers, and I've got to be honest with you, these are the ones that we've stuck with. They work really well. The cohesion of the apps, both in the App Store and also Windows, is absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I've whittled on for way too long, and you can tell I'm actually really positive about these products. They have been sent to us free of charge for review purposes. I appreciate that. So obviously, anything that you're hearing from me, you may be thinking, well, he's just saying that because he's paid to. But ultimately, I've got my home secured and kind of surveyed by these products. If I wasn't confident in them, I wouldn't continue to use them day after day, week after week, year after year. I am very pleased with these products, so definitely take that as my seal of approval. If you do want to pick these up, there will be some affiliated links and also the discount codes as well in the video description, so please do check those out. If you've got any comments or questions about any of the products from IMOU, the the 2E specifically, or any of the other range, then please do let me know in the comment section below, or you can reach out to our email address, which is mike@mikesunboxing.com, or of course go over to IMOU Life site and they will answer questions there. There's also a great FAQ as well, which gives you all the information you need, and also there's a support center with the downloads for both the iOS, Android and the Windows apps if you want to get those installed on your device and see how they go. So that's pretty much it for this one. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we won't be catching you in the camera. Thanks for watching.